What's up, Thrashers, and welcome back once again to the Thrash Maniac 99 YouTube channel, and I am back with another album review, and today I am talking about, to kick off the weekend of June 21st, the latest offering from Alcest with CHANTS De L'AURORE? I butchered the fuck out of that. It's French, so I'm gonna be awful regardless. Anyway, so this is the latest offering from this French post-black metal slash blackgaze band, and this came out on Nuclear Blast Records, and I'll be honest with you, I've only checked out one Alcest song my entire life. I'm not going to attempt to pronounce it because I already butchered the fuck out of the title. I ain't gonna butcher it any further. So, yeah, I've heard one Alcest song and it was unique. Like, then again, when it comes to blackgaze, if that's even really a thing, not the biggest fan of it. I prefer my black metal to be riffy and heavy, with melody on top, obviously. But I gotta say, this was better than I was thinking it was going to be, so I'm gonna try with these titles, so don't at me. I'm a typical American, so don't fucking hound me in the comments. I try my best. The opening track, Komorebi, I think I got that one correct. It starts off with this, like, beautiful dissonant melody with strings over top to kind of add a little bit of melancholy, a little bit to the atmosphere. And then it's rather doom-laden with some little tremolo melodies, and then out of nowhere comes the black metal blasts and tremolo melodies, even a double-time rhythm, and tasty acoustic guitars, and that's kind of the flavors I'm getting off of a lot of this album. However, with this track, no screaming vocals. It was all cleans, and I gotta say, Nej, who I do know about, has a kind of soothing, clean vocal approach, even though I can't understand anything he's saying because it's French, and I barely know English, so yeah, it was kind of difficult for me to process, but for his vocal tones, pretty soothing, so it definitely sounds like something you could fall asleep to in a good way, like as if Nej is singing a lullaby to you. Then we get into L'Envol. This one kind of retains a little bit of that, like, doomy atmosphere from the previous track, although there's some twangy riffs, which I didn't really expect to hear on this album, where there's a bit of a twanginess to it. More dissonant melodies, and then more... Now, I gotta say, the acoustic guitar work is tastefully done, and I do love tasteful acoustic guitars when done right. And this is one of only a couple of tracks where there's black metal vocals that come in to kind of add a little bit more extremity to an otherwise melodic track. Then we get to Amethyst, which, yeah, I can pronounce that one. So we have Amethyst, where it starts off with a tremolo melody, very much like black metal, although it's groovy. And I don't really associate black metal with groove a lot of times, but there's some solid grooves on this track. And then the tempo starts driving you forward as if you're running through the forest to embrace nature almost. Although the atmosphere kind of turns rather dramatic, if I can describe it like that. There's some tasty, clean guitars. This is the second and probably the last track where you get, like, black metal vocals really at all. But then you get a key ingredient that will come up later in the album, the Hammond organ. And I always love hearing the Hammond organ in songs because it just adds a more powerful feeling to the song or the section that they're playing it on. And it just, like, gave you an extra, like, a extra flick right on your ass. Like, hey, pay attention. Hammond organ, motherfucker. But then you get into, I think, one of the big singles, Flamme Gumel? I'm not even going to try and say it again. But yeah, the music video, I will admit to this song, very strange. I gotta admit, it was a very strange video, but the song itself, it's mostly groove and twangy, clean guitars, and it's actually fairly catchy, and then it even gets back a little bit into more of that, like, post-metal doominess that's kind of in there a little bit on blackgaze music. And then you get into Reminiscence, which this is just a short 2.5 minute piano and strings instrumental with wails from Nej. It's pretty, even though it felt like a throwaway track. Then we get into La Font de la Lune, which I think that was probably the smoothest thing I've said in this entire review. Again, clean guitars to add some beauty to the beast, tremolo melodies and blasts to bring back more of those like classic black metal tropes, dissonant melodic riffs, and the Hammond organ returns, which I'm like, yes, I love the Hammond organ. Gets into double time rhythms, but the drum flare is quite tasty on this track, although it gets really distorted at the end and it almost blew my ears out. But then we get into the final track, L'Adu. L'Adu? I think that's it. This one was mostly about the melancholy. Like, this track definitely has some more acoustic, somber, clean guitars and strings. It felt like a good, like, sad way to kind of end this album. And I kind of like whenever you get a track like that on an album like this, because it just kind of fully encompasses the entire atmosphere and feeling of the album. And it's all about sadness, but nature. It kind of intermingles all those into one. So, as far as any negatives go, I do wish that the guitars could have been a little bit more defined, and also I do wish there could have been some, I don't know, maybe some more black metal vocals, because like I said, you only got them on 2 tracks, and I would have loved to have heard more of those screams, kind of bring out more of Nej's extreme influence. But overall, I was not expecting much going into this, considering I'm not a big fan of blackgaze, but this is actually some pretty damn solid stuff. I'm going to give this a 3.5. I actually thought this was pretty good for what it was. Perhaps I need to go back and check out the rest of Alcest's albums and see what I've been missing out on. But of course, those are just my opinions. What did you guys think? I'm not even going to bother calling the album by its title, but the latest album from Alcest. Let me know in the comments below. Thank you for watching. Like, comment, share, subscribe, all that fun stuff. Keep your horns high and your dreams wet.
Thank you for your patronage.